What is the word for a path that is made naturally by the action of people walking? I remember one day, when I was supposed to be at school, hanging out at a friend's house and watching an episode of Call My Bluff, and there was a word that meant something like a path that is made, e.g. across a field, by people consistently walking along the same way. For example, something like this, updated as some pointed out that my original picture was actually a footpath. So, it is 15 plus years later and I cannot for the life of me remember it, so does anyone know what that word is?
In the trail maintenance community, it's called a social trail, but that's only relevant when there's a maintained trail from which it branches.
Some paths as shown are called cow paths. For some discussion of cow path and calf path, see Laura's answer to a previous question. I've heard deer trail in conversation much more frequently than cow path, but deer trails usually are less obvious than the trail shown in the photo.
You probably heard one of desire line, a path that pedestrians take informally, rather than taking a sidewalk or set route, e.g. a well-worn ribbon of dirt that one sees cutting across a patch of grass, or paths in the snow. Well-trodden path, describing a route or path that is frequently used. Beaten track, a well-populated area or well-trodden path, any busy area. For it to remain this tantalizingly elusive, I dare say that you heard option numero uno.
Besides path, pathlet, pathway, and the many things related to ways, tracks, and trails by having those words in their names, such as runway, highway, racetrack. We still have many possibilities. All cited definitions from the OED. Ambage, circuits, windings, circuitous paths, bridle path, road, way, a path fit for the passage of a horse, but not of vehicles, bypath, a side path, as opposed to the high road, a private, retired, or unfrequented path, chair, local name for a narrow lane, alley, all wind, in Newcastle and some neighbouring towns, also for some country lanes and field tracks, e.g. the three which converge at chair ends, by the landing place on Holy Island, Estrade, in the Brazilian rubber trade, a winding path or road connecting a series of trees. Also in FR form Estrade, fair, a road, track B, spec the track of a hare or rabbit. Fute, the traces or track, of an animal, dot, footing, a mark or impression left by the foot, a footprint, or footprints collectively, a trace, track, trail, footpath, a path for foot passengers only, footway, a way or path for foot passengers only, fostall, PL fostalks, the track of a hare. Apparently a contraction of footstall, going, means of access, a path, road, a passage, gangway, in a church. Gutter, a furrow or track made by running water, hagpath, a path through a copse. Holloway, a way, road, or path, through a defile or cutting, ladle, a little path, bypath, landway, a way or path over land. A road giving access to land, meanders, PL crooked or winding paths, of a maze, labyrinthine passages, windings or convolutions, of a vein, fissure, line, etc. Pad, a path, track, the road, the way. Piste, the beaten track of a horse or other animal, the track of a racecourse or training ground. Also in extended use, rack, a narrow path or track. Rake, a way, path, especially a rough path over a hill, a narrow path up a clef, rideway, a bridle path, roddin, rodding, a path, see sheep rodding, rut, a deep furrow or track made in the ground, especially in a soft road, by the passage of a wheeled vehicle or vehicles, scythe, a going, journey, path, way. Serpentine, a winding path or line, slot, the track or trail of an animal, especially a deer, as shown by the marks of the foot, sometimes misapplied to the scent of an animal, hence. Generally, track, trace, or trail. Stite, a path, sty, a path or narrow way, switchback, applied to a railway consisting of a series of steep alternate ascents and descents, on which the train or car runs partly or whole. LLY by the force of gravity, the momentum of each descent carrying it up the succeeding ascent. especially to such a railway constructed for amusement at a pleasure resort. Hence transfer a road having steep alternate ascents and descents. SB a switchback railway, in either sense, also tran. SF and figure, applied in N, a mare. To a tight bend on an ascending road or trail, terry, a trodden path, sometimes a balk or ridge of earth separating fields or allotments, trace, the way or path which anything takes, course, road. Trench, a path or track cut through a wood or forest, an alley, a hollow walk. A long and narrow hollow cut out of the ground, a cutting, a ditch, fosse, a deep furrow, traverse, a passage by which one may traverse or cross, a way, pass, a crossing, twitten, a narrow path or passage between two walls or hedges, upgang, an ascent, an upward path or way. And then there is the adjective Wilson, chiefly of a way or path, leading astray as through wild and desolate regions, hence, desert, lonely and wild, dreary. Some of those are now rare or obsolete, or restricted to certain dialects or locales.
If you want to support the channel, please consider liking and subscribing.